Welcome to another episode of Replay, everyone. I am Andrew Reiner. Today, we got bad news. Two big game companies are gone, and we're going to kind of pay tribute to both of them. We did say we were going to have part 3 of the Commodore 64 showcase. That's going to be coming the following week. We thought we'd interrupt that to look at Telltale Games and Capcom Vancouver. We're going to start with The Walking Dead Season 1, the final episode. Got Jeff Cork here.
Hello.
Ben Reeves.
Hello.
Kimberly Wallace.
Hello.
And Leo Vader.
Thank you.
We're going to weigh in on this. We're going to be talking over it a lot. So if this is your first time seeing it, I recommend playing it for yourself because this is a hell of a game story and probably Telltale's best journey in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll just generate that. And so this is the beginning of Clementine's adventure with Lee.
Previously on The Walking
And you'll
Dead.
get some context here.
What if my parents come home and I'm not there? I've got my walkie-talkie in case.
She was so young.
Oh, so innocent,
How young she is.
believing they were alive.
Want some batteries?
Hey, kid, want some batteries?
That was a big moment.
I want to find my parents.
Come into my van. I'll give you all the batteries you want.
When they go there.
The Marsh House?
Yes, that's it.
You didn't come into town from the railroad, did you?
Oh, God, that guy.
I've forgotten about so much of this.
Yeah.
All these characters, pretty much.
Was it?
Clementine?
Oh, God.
Clementine!
That
Who's
was the
that?
scariest moment.
Oh, no.
What's weird was he was just looking for those little oranges. He was never looking for the girl.
That's just good storytelling.
Yeah. I need vitamin C. Oh, Jeffem was in this. I forgot about that.
have to do it without us.
I don't know why you're looking over
Ah,
here.
he was the best.
Kenny.
Clementine.
And did you notice when he said Clementine, the color of the font was orange. So it was really about
Yeah.
those little oranges.
Oh,
And
it's
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 a good
delicious.
observation.
It's a talking Clementine.
I will remember this.
But so if you haven't heard the news, Telltale is closing, and it sounds like we won't get the final episodes of the final season of Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Get out here.
Which the first episode just came out.
Trouble here. All
Well,
I
2
want
episodes technically came out. They quickly pulled the second one.
Yeah, so I played the first one, and when I went to go play the second one, and it wasn't available anymore. So it's kind of sad.
Oh, no.
You got your tongue? In case you haven't figured it out yet. This isn't Arden. Clementine's fine. But if I were you, I'd choose my next words very carefully.
No.
This guy was so annoying. This whole plot angle in this.
What was his name?
Have anything nice to say?
It's the walkie-talkie
Yeah, I
guy.
can't remember. It's still a
It's
mystery
the
at this point.
walkie-talkie guy, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot the plot because I don't remember why he hated Lee for some reason, right?
Yeah, it goes back. So it's a way for them to acknowledge your choices, but in a very, like, superficial way, with having him repeat stuff that you did and why you should be. And they didn't all line up for why you should be angry.
Oh, something about the car.
Beep.
Yep.
Clementine. I'm coming for you.
No way. Hold on, Clem.
Yeah, we can.
So we
can
still
save
have our arm.
Well, this
That's a
makes
spoiler.
me miss
All right.
Lee. I have been playing the Walking Dead series from Telltale, and obviously Lee doesn't go on to the other episodes, and I liked him as a protagonist.
Those
He's a
things
cool
left
guy.
for a fucking minute.
This made me sad.
Yeah, it would have been good to see him come back somehow.
Not as a zombie, though. I didn't want them to do that,
Yeah.
and I'm glad they didn't. I don't think. I can't rember.
Like
I'm
a
glad they
Michonne
didn't.
situation
I don't
where she's leading him around on a leash and using him as like an attack zombie.
Oh, that would have been kind of cool. Kind of like Michonne.
Yeah, if only someone had just brought that up.
I remember being on the edge of my seat for pretty much this whole episode. Like, they did such a great job of building up their relationship.
You knew something was coming. You knew that
Looks like a contract.
this was it, and
I wanna
the intensity of knowing that somebody probably wasn't going to make it out alive because it wouldn't be The Walking Dead without that.
It's interesting too, looking back at kind of where the series started. You see more puzzle elements where you would
More
like,
to interact with.
You find they alluded to the batteries early. There was the whole section where you had to fix the radio by finding multiple components and the different
Oops.
places they would be in. And it seems like over time those were kind of pushed aside in favor of I think they thought that the storytelling was what people were really into.
Right.
Well, people complained every time they had puzzles because it didn't.
Really?
Yeah, there
I
was
remember
because
people
there was that
complaining there
coin you
weren't
had to
puzzles.
look for that people were like, "Don't ever do that again."
Yeah.
There's a few of them. I
Yeah.
think it was.
I
They
think it was
were
the bad puzzles,
experimenting.
yeah.
They were experimenting with how to put puzzles and still have the storytelling fit.
All right, guys, we got a
Oh,
choice
boy.
here.
Oh gosh.
Rib spreader.
Gun it.
Yeah. You got to gun it.
All right, here goes.
Bang, bang, bang.
Gonna shoot
Take that door.
No, you're not.
All right, no, he's not.
You're
Let's
straight.
put this thing on here.
Oh, the car jack.
Oh,
Perfect.
of course we picked the wrong thing.
I don't remember
See,
even
that's
doing
an
this.
actual puzzle.
Take your time. So, did you guys have, Kim, any other favorite series from Telltale? I mean, going all the way back to like Bone and all that stuff.
Oh wow.
Sam and Max, remember those?
I was big into Sam and Max.
Really?
I like the
Yeah.
Lucas Sam and Max, like the way old one.
Yeah. that
Wallace
wasn't
and Gromit,
Telltale,
was that
but
Telltale?
I believe it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I always wanted to play the Sam and Max ones because I had fondness for those characters.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I remember I mentioned on the podcast, but they did a puzzle agent.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think they put out 2 of those games. That was really fun, like goofy game with like actual puzzles that were pretty good. I thought it was kind of like Professor Layton. They were like those style of puzzles kind of mixed in throughout the environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of the overall episodic nature of these things?
I loved them. Yeah, especially when it hits, like this game here, you kind of got that like, like the water cooler discussions like Lost had, where it's like, oh man, what's going to happen? I remember after each episode, like talking to Kim and other people in the office, Joe and
what
stuff.
happened?
Yeah, just about like what could come next and where they could go.
Problem with it was after like there's too much space between episodes at certain points where I would forget a lot of it. So those recaps were good at the beginning, but they didn't. I couldn't remember everything.
Yeah, it was frustrating because it wasn't this last season of The Walking Dead. It was seen as like a big bold move in that they announced the release dates, which is something that they came at, like to your point, like it's such a terrible cadence of release on these things where it didn't seem. It seemed arbitrary when the next one was coming out. It might be a
Yeah, they
month.
didn't
It might
have,
be
like,
2 months. Like, I don't know. I also was kind of suspicious of the whole, like, well, we like to see what our fans are doing and react to that, which just tells me that they didn't have any strong direction to begin with. And it's like, if you're taking me along on a journey, I want to know that you are confident in what you're doing and you're not just listening to a bunch of assholes on message boards and
Yeah.
kind of pivoting to make them
Yeah,
happy.
sorry, he's cutting off his arm.
Oh, yeah,
and
this whole
I'm
thing.
I'm like looking at that and trying to listen to you, and I'm like, oh,
Wow,
I
yeah.
do not like these.
Oh my gosh. This is going to hurt.
Bracing for it.
So, what I remember here is like you have the option to not do this, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you could. But I mean, he's infected, right? So like you're like, okay, I got to save myself at this point. Like you got to keep Lee alive. And the way to do that is you got to get rid of it, right? Like the infection can't spread.
Oh, the
That is
bone, the
gnarly.
bone.
Well, I remember this choice doesn't really have like much of an impact, right?
Well, it's a visual thing.
So
and
he
it-
just gets like
God, this is brutal.
paler.
Oh, poor guy. Oh.
There is no way he'd be on his feet.
Oh, yeah, no way.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
gosh.
Oh.
The choice should have been that or a Band-Aid.
The fact that they show it's crazy. There was another game where you cut your finger off too, I think. Remember?
Heavy rain.
Yeah, that's what.
Well, there's the whole eyeball sequence in Tales from the Borderlands, which is pretty gross too. But
Oh, they have
played
some
for laughs.
later in the Walking Dead seasons that are equally gross, where you have to stitch the stuff up from Clementine. And, ugh. I mean, that's the reality of the world, I guess.
With
They have
that,
to cut your arm off to survive.
problem solved.
that would
His
not feel
bandages
good,
are
right?
way too neat.
Oh yeah. Also, I think he'd still be pouring blood.
Oh, he'd be
I think
so,
he needs
he's
to
so
tie
dead.
off the vein, right? Like,
He'd be so dead.
Get out of here.
Got those dang zombies also.
All right.
what would you guys do?
Alright.
Would you cut off your own arm?
I couldn't.
You'd have to. You're. I mean, you're dead
I
otherwise, right?
can't. I can't even. So I would get these migraines, and I had to take these like Imitrex shots, and I could not even do him because I'd have to have someone else because I can't hurt myself.
You couldn't put the needle in?
Yeah, and there was such a tiny like blip, like 1, 2, 3. But my fiance would try to help me, and then he'd be like, okay, do it. Wait, no, I'm not ready, and just it was horrible.
So I was on a work trip in New York, and I was in the shower, and the drain thing was up, and I stepped in, and it knocked my toenail up on my.
Oh no!
gosh.
Oh,
And it was, I mean, it was
God.
like, this thing has to come off. So I ripped it off.
Oh God.
And then was like, okay, at least I'm in New York City, because that means there's like got to be a Walgreens or some drugstore around. So I went out there, got some like ointments and bandages and all that. But I had a meeting like an hour later.
Oh God.
So I just kind of soldiered through that. And then stupidly walked around New York a bunch.
Did you tell the people at the meeting what had happened?
I mean, that makes for a good opener, right?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. It was just,
Hey, can you look at this?
I just kept crying for no reason.
How'd I do?
God, I do.
This guy thinks our game is very emotional.
Look at this. They changed the animation when you just have the one arm. I like this shot. It's very cool. Yeah, I'm going to miss their style of game. Admittedly, I have not played a lot of their new ones. Like, I think Batman Season 1 was the last one I played in full.
Yeah.
Didn't like Guardians of the Galaxy. I fell off of Walking Dead. As much as I loved the first 2 seasons, I never got through 3.
3 was not a great season, and kind of when I look back on it, I would have preferred this final season to that one because they went with a new character. And I mean, Clementine was in it, but it was very like the connections were very limited in what it did for the overall like story arc of Clementine, which this was about Clementine the whole time because in season 2 you control her. So if they would have skipped that and put the final season out, we would have had some closure, but I could have done without it.
I think the thing that killed it for me was the side episode, the bridging stories they did. Like, what was it, 400 Days after this one? Like, I thought that was okay. It was kind of neat.
Oh, I love that.
But then the next one, who was that about?
Just need to figure out
After
a way to
season
get
2?
there.
Oh, what was his name?
Oh,
Michonne?
Michonne.
Yeah,
Who's
they did
that?
like a 3-part Michonne one, and I was like,
Yeah.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
I'm just not into this. It's like, she's from like the TV series. I
Yeah.
haven't watched that.
Yeah.
So I immediately kind of felt a disconnect.
Yeah. She was in the comics too, if you read that. But yeah,
So I kind of fell off there.
she's like a fan favorite character.
Yeah. Kind of like a.
Glenn
Yeah.
was also, he was in the first episode.
Oh,
Or-
that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, they kept
Him
doing
and
that
Herschel,
throughout
yeah.
the whole like arc of the 3 seasons that were complete.
What do you think these papers are?
Help.
Homework?
Zombies.
How to stop the cure?
Maybe it's a zombie love letter.
So you just cut off your arm. Here's what you
It's
should
yeah.
do.
This is what happens if you get bit in the hand.
Hospital must have run out of doctors.
No hell.
What was it supposed to say? No help.
A clue.
What could this be?
I've got to find whoever wrote this sign.
Over there.
Let's go.
Here's a way down.
Poof.
I remember this first season. They made a big deal about Gary Whitta wrote the 4th episode.
Yeah,
Remember that?
introduce the girl with the grapple, or
Oh,
Yeah. And I don't remember her ever coming back.
why can't I get down?
Yeah, there were like
'Cause you have
rumors
one
of
arm.
whether or not she would
But he just climbed a
or
ladder.
did anything.
No, what did he just say?
The weird thing is they made a big deal about that, but I thought like that 4th episode was maybe the weakest one in the season. I kind of like the ones that Sean Vanneman wrote the most.
Yeah.
It's an extension ladder.
I don't see how it's relevant.
Yeah, what are we supposed to do here? Anybody
This is
remember?
why people didn't like the puzzles.
Well, yeah, they're not really puzzles, right? You're just sort of walking around looking
Yeah.
for things.
It just keeps locking me into these views.
Although that is kind of like, I mean, classic adventure games. You
Yeah.
just wander around,
Yep.
and click on everything, and try to find something. Can you throw a rock at that?
Oh, did you take the ladder and over that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but why won't he? Did I get the cue here?
That's it.
There.
With the bell tower on this side of the hospital and the mansion over there. That might be our way off this route.
Oh, you gotta
Okay,
ring the
now go
bell.
get the ladder.
Make it to that bell tower. I can draw the walkers down to
I will
that side
say,
of the
like,
hospital.
being on a rooftop is
Thousands of them.
one of the most common scenarios in The Walking Dead and the television show and Fear the Walking Dead. They're always on a rooftop and have to figure out a way to get down.
Oh, what was that?
When in doubt, they just climb, and then they're like, "Oh,
No way.
now we got to get down."
It's higher than this.
Is
for starters.
so have you watched much of Fear the Walking Dead?
I am all caught up with it.
Really?
Yeah. It got it was like the first season is not very great.
Uh-huh.
And then it gets okay and like dumb fun. And then it's like for a very brief window, it's like, oh, this is genuinely pretty good. And then we can attribute it to some people like the showrunner from Walking Dead proper moved over to Fear the Walking Dead.
Okay.
And it could just be an amazing coincidence, but it is just completely in the toilet right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just awful.
I want to see what his hands are doing.
Shit.
What if he just like fumbled and the ladder just fell down?
Yeah.
And he went with it.
Time to fall.
And then credits.
In Walking Dead season.
I think game developers should be required to try the things that they just did in the game. Because, like, using the stupid extension ladder with both hands, it just never fails. Like, I scrape
Oh
my
my
fingers
gosh.
up, I turn into, like, a big cursing mess.
It slams down on your hand.
Oh, they're
and just
awful.
Like, oh, it hurts the worst.
Oh, of
Yep.
course.
Oh, see, for example.
It's same thing with, like, in a movie or a TV show when a character has to, like, dig a grave. They always show, like, 1 hour later,
Sucker.
there's, like, a 6-foot hole with, like, perfectly square edges. Like, we had a pet rabbit that died, and it took, like, 2 hours to dig, like, a thing that was like, is this deep enough,
Oh,
really?
yeah. It takes forever to dig a hole.
Yeah.
They should really kill someone and try to bury
They
them.
should really kill someone and try to bury them, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, a grave that big would take all day.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. In a game, you do it like 3 shovel
Yeah.
bits and you're out.
Especially like a Walking Dead situation when someone's having, like, gotta bury him. We've been on this journey together. And we've been slowly starving to death over the last 2 weeks, so here we go. I'll spend all day digging a hole.
Remember when this was locked and Lee just died up here of starvation?
You just slowly withered away. No way.
Yeah,
dude.
you're not getting.
I'm
That's
gonna
the
do
thing. It always looks possible, but then if you actually did it, like if you jump that far out in real life, you'd never make it.
it. Tom Cruise could make
I
it.
think you have to jump.
Well, yeah.
Damn.
And you'd break his foot in half.
Say it because you know it.
He'd still do it.
Far, just a
And he'd get up and run away with a broken
He would.
foot.
That's right. He has the power of
Oh, God.
midi-chlorians or something. What is it? Theta-chlorians?
How old is he? 50
I think he's
something?
87. Yeah, he just looks really good.
That's crazy. He does all those
Oh
stunts.
boy, Reiner, you better get it. Oh!
Oh gosh. Imagine his hand slamming into the side of the
I mean,
too.
every rib, like he's dead right there.
Okay. Time to
Ugh,
go.
okay.
See ya. Now he runs. Mm-hmm. All right.
Now, who's this character?
Hey,
Winston.
look at that, like a stud.
Well, he had his arm sawed off too.
So if you're in a zombie situation, what do you do, Jeff?
What do I do?
Yeah.
Like, where? Like,
Yeah, where do you go? Like,
oh,
where do you hole up? Like, what supplies?
yeah. Good grief.
You would think the country would be a good spot, right? Because there's fewer people.
Well, I'd find an island on a lake.
Oh, that's good.
That would be the first thing.
What are you going to eat
What?
on this island?
Oh,
Fish.
Vernon.
Fish.
They were waiting for us and jumped us. They were armed and just...
fuck. Did they have Clementine?
No, definitely not. She's not with you?
She's with someone else. Her parents were in Savannah, and I think someone used
Was-
that against her.
Did this one have Christmas, or
going
was that
after
the
her,
second
right?
one?
Yeah, of
Right.
course.
Where there was like the
Second
cabin,
one.
or
Wait,
What the hell
Oh,
happened?
second
that was
season, I
season
think.
2.
Yeah, because then Kenny appears.
yeah, that was a good, that was a good
Yeah, came back.
sequence.
I like
Everybody's like, I love Kenny.
Yeah, they had that weird girl.
Small,
that-
stupid thing.
Trying to think of a sensitive way to say this. I could not tell if she was
Before we split up?
deliberately
Yes.
You fucking-
portrayed as being like on
we would've gone
a
with
spectrum or just
through.
terribly written and acted. And
know
like
who
the
you're
girl with the
talking about.
glasses.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're like, is this what's
'Cause
going on with this?
Wasn't she older than Clementine?
Yes.
That was
She was
what
very
made it weird.
sheltered and
Yeah.
like
Get bit down on the wrist,
overprotected,
far
so
from
I think they're
anything important.
trying to
But who knows?
show that. But
Oh, God.
So they will remember that was a big thing in season 1. Kind of became a joke as Telltale's games went on because the threads never really added up, or your choices never really felt like
Right.
they were meaningful because they all kind of funneled into one
Yeah, you realize
decision, right?
what the trick is to a certain point, and then you're like, okay,
You're like, well,
whatever.
it'll flavor a thing that happens, but ultimately this person's going to die one way or another. I would actually, so season 1, you could turn that off, that text from appearing, which I like to do actually, because it always pulled me out as soon as it would say like, oh, they'll remember that. I knew like, okay, well that thing is going to color something later down the line.
Yeah.
But in later games, they took out the option to even turn that text off because they wanted you to see it.
Yeah. Something they did add though was something that kind of where everybody could hook their phone up and like going into a lobby, and play together and like make decisions.
That's a cool
collaboratively.
idea.
Yeah, because I played like through the first season of Batman with my kids. And it was like we played the first episode. Like I would go like, what should Batman do? And then like the timer is going down, and they're like, "Hey, no, X." And, like, and then it just turned into a big. Everyone's mad at each other, but once everyone had their phone, then it could just be like this one.
Yeah, no, they did. They'd show their games in theaters and have like just everyone in there watching and playing along, right?
Yeah, it's cool.
That's a cool idea.
No idea what else is out there.
I don't want to get us all killed on some impossible mission.
It'll be better than
I thought the art style worked really well for this one, but then when it kind of continued over with all of their games, the same expressions.
Yeah.
Right now,
Yeah.
Clementine is the goal. That's it.
It made it difficult, at least for me, to relate to what was happening because they really did look like marginally animated puppets.
Yeah.
So when they were going through like heavy situations and scenarios, it was just like I could barely empathize with these.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of worked for this because it was also based on comics.
Exactly.
So it was like, oh, it's kind of a comic booky look.
Yeah.
But, and I guess technically Batman and Guardians are all comics, but I don't know. It did feel like the art style kind of wore on you after a while. Oh no!
Oh god! Oh god!
And the action sequences, like just things like that, didn't seem particularly exciting.
Oh no!
I thought he just slipped for a second. I was like, "You idiot!"
Ow! Ow! Ow!
How could you forget the doggy door?
I think some bad stuff's gonna happen.
He got a new hand.
Do they ever address like what happens to animals in this world? Do they turn into zombies?
No. Well, most of the animals that we see in Walking Dead, they get killed and eaten by the
that's
zombies.
What I was gonna say.
Like
I like that
Rick's
little
horse.
smirk there.
It's a nice clean cut.
Fingers, see ya.
Just keeps going.
Is
Hacks
this
off
gameplay?
Kenny's arm.
Now what?
Should we hide?
Get ready to fight.
This place seems sturdy to me. I think we're fine.
Immediately.
You idiot.
They should add a Call of Duty crossover and had this be a map and zombies mode.
Oh, that would have been cool.
nondescript house.
Sturdy house.
Yeah. See, I think like Telltale's games really are at their best, though, even in spite of the visual style not supporting this necessarily. But like quieter moments of drama, but like these action sequences always felt really stilted and silly. Like
Yeah, like this right here.
the cinematography was just kind of goofy.
I'd rather than having you push this thing, why not just have it be a cutscene? They push it,
Yeah.
done,
Yeah.
move on.
I mean, we were here for the stories, right?
Yeah.
That became like they didn't know that at this point.
Yeah.
Right? This is the first one.
All
But at the
this,
same time, like, they've been making adventure games for years and years before.
That's fair.
but I feel like all seasons of The Walking Dead in particular, like they were kind of learning along the way and trying different things on how to use that. I know that like the second season, you could end up in different places depending on your ending. They're just I felt like they were still figuring it out, and that was part of the problem, like not giving themselves enough time to figure it out as well, because you got to strike when it's hot. Still, it was
Yeah. And taking on so many different properties.
yeah. That's
like,
what I think is ultimately what was. There's just too much,
Yeah.
and I couldn't even keep up. And I really liked their games and some of the properties I was interested in, but at some point I was just like, I just don't.
Yeah.
Too much.
You just can't keep up.
Well, too, you don't want to have the same similar experience to over and over again.
Right.
Like, that's what happened.
Yeah, exactly. You even though the IP might be different, it's like a different skin on a very similar experience. So like playing Batman right after playing Guardians of the Galaxy and then going into a Walking Dead, it was just you get fatigued on that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, it would have been cool if they just stuck with this formula for Walking Dead all those seasons, and then maybe try to do something a little bit different.
Yeah, I agree.
Those others.
Have any ideas?
Yeah, like
This guy would.
I wish they would have gone back to some of their earlier roots and tried to enhance that, right? Or try different things, like you guys are saying.
Well, like I said, I thought Puzzle Agent was really cool, and that didn't like blow up like Walking Dead did. So they didn't like do that formula again. But that could have been kind of cool as like Batman, like a more slow paced, like methodical, like Batman's like researching things and he's a detective, so he's trying to like solve puzzles, solve puzzles, and that could have been kind of cool.
What year did this come out? Was this 2012?
We'll have Leo look at this one here.
I remember it was the same year as Mass Effect 3.
I feel like it was the first year I was on staff at Game Informer, because I remember people talking about it, and I just had no interest. I'm like, I don't care. It's Walking Dead, and then PlayStation Plus had it for free, like the first and second episode. And I remember I'm like, all right, well, I'll try this. And I just got so hooked, and it was like so unexpected. And I was like, now I get what everyone's talking about. But it was something that, like I said, I didn't even see coming. And just like, because there weren't games that, there are games that are doing versions of this, but I think, like I said, those, as Reiner said, those water cooler moments and having those like time decisions are my favorite, where you're just in the moment and you don't know what you want to really do, but you're like, I gotta pick something. Just the intensity of those, I thought they did really well. And then those cliffhangers, like I remember was it episode 3 or 2 of this in particular, where it is like the road trip from hell, where all and you're just like, okay, they'll kill anyone. Like that was when I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen.
We're not gonna do her any good if you've attacked us. That isn't gonna happen.
Did they ever have a conversation about what happened to Lee's arm there?
Yeah, they did.
I missed it.
He said it was a dumb thing that happened to him. But he let him know he's been bitten.
Let's just talk about a stupid boat now.
We're also worked up
Yeah, I guess we could say this now. We were close to doing the first look of season 2.
Yes.
But they could not figure out what Clem was going to look like at that point. So that's where they were in the design. And they said it all comes together very quickly with art and gameplay.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, they do it episodic. It's development cycles, a matter of months. Obviously, they're making environments and character models and all that. But, they factor in player choice, decisions people made into the narrative, and what kind of happens next. But we were pretty excited about that opportunity, but it just didn't come together, with our lead times.
It was supposed to be my first cover story. I remember that. I remember
what
that.
ended up being your first cover story?
Ni no Kune, wasn't it?
I guess if you counted that is because that wasn't proper cover story. Like we went out to their studio or anything.
I don't even remember us doing a Ni no Kune cover story.
My first trip I went on was Dragon Age Inquisition, but the first one I wrote might.
Is this really possible?
Oh my god! Oh, I remember. It was with you, Cork. Assassin's Creed Unity, and you did Rogue. There you go.
Reunited.
Kim was right. This did come out between April and November 2012.
Nice. Thanks, Leo.
Good.
No, thanks, Kim.
Oh, yeah, Kim had it
I'll
first.
always have this great in my mind as my first year at GI. I also remember as the first year I was in Game of the Year deliberations, and I remember this coming up, and we had, Mass Effect 3, and then what was the other?
There was something else that year.
Yeah,
that
was it XCOM maybe?
Point. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah, and we were just...
It was kind of a heated year.
It was an interesting year, I'll say that. It was interesting also being in that process for the first time.
They probably would have let you.
Those of us who hate storytelling, it was a very difficult set of meetings.
Yeah.
You say you hate storytelling,
No,
Cork?
I was just joking.
Okay.
And when it happened?
Well, we could play this all the way through to the end. The sad, awful,
I'll cry again.
crushing ending.
I seriously was sobbing. I've never had a game make me sob like that. Like I've gotten teary-eyed, but I still remember that. I needed a glass of wine after that. Whew.
And I know, Telltale's gotten most of the headlines, but Capcom Vancouver closing too is just as big of a deal, in my opinion. Two big game studios that made games every
it makes me
every
so
year or every
sad.
other year are no longer with us. So that's less games being made, which is never a good thing. But let's take a look at one of their best games, Dead Rising 2. All right, this is Dead Rising 2 from Capcom Vancouver. Kenji Inafune.
No longer at Capcom.
A different kind of zombie game from The Walking
Yeah.
Dead.
Yeah.
This is when they were still Blue Castle.
That's right.
They had not
That's
been
right.
acquired by Capcom at this point.
But Capcom had their eye on them.
Had their eye on them.
So who is this, Jeff?
This is Chuck Green.
Who is... Well, I guess he debuted in a free download, right? Like a
I don't remember if it was free
side
or not.
chapter, or was it like
Case
$5?
Zero.
Yeah, Case Zero.
It was awesome. It was like a model that you really you haven't seen before or since, where it was like a completely separate side story, like a prequel to this. Well, it was a prequel. It was like came out before and was set before.
Right. It was
Kind
like
of
a
led into this,
like issue 0
like
of a comic
preview,
series,
basically, of an environment that you don't visit in the main game, and you're basically trying to repair your motorcycle to go to Vegas for this terrorist reality event.
It was small, but it was like an open area.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
really cool.
really neat.
I loved that.
But
Yeah, I
you
know-
could carry that progress over, I think, couldn't you? Wasn't there something
yeah, you could like
bring in?
level up to
Yeah.
level 5.
Yeah.
And if you started the game, you'd
That was the
start there.
cool thing, is like
Yeah.
having that bring over into the main game.
Thought that
And
was
Dead
genius.
Rising, the first Dead Rising, which was not a Capcom Vancouver developed game, that was just Capcom proper, was cool because that had a demo on. It was like
Puff.
10 minutes in the mail, or in the mall, where you could just go crazy for 10 minutes. You didn't see any story stuff whatsoever. So they've always done a good job with like their demos.
Oh, I didn't notice in the reflection there was just a 2 with the S. They didn't even need to put the 2 on the end.
There you go.
Dead Retooing.
So if you haven't played Dead Rising 2, Chuck Green is like a former stuntman.
Yep,
We're
I
like
love this opening.
well into the zombie apocalypse, and he's competing in what they call Terror is Reality, which is like a reality game show where people fight zombies. And this guy is such an asshole. Not Chuck Green, he's a good guy.
Yeah, and I know there was a lot of controversy just in the announcement of this game because Frank West wasn't returning. The
Exactly.
photographer from the first game.
Who people liked.
Oh, man, he's great. And I think Chuck's great, too. But the end of the first game didn't get enough credit in setting up this universe because they teased a lot of different things in that, the last 5 minutes?
The true ending?
Yeah, where there was just this map that showed all these possible different locations, and this is one of them. And but they did good for fans of bringing back Frank eventually.
Yes.
And was he the protagonist again in
He was in 4.
4?
Yeah. Yep. Definitely. Yeah, this also, the Terror is Reality, there's a bunch of different mini games you could play online when the game came out. I don't even, like at this point, if you go online, probably nothing happens, but so you could earn a bunch of prestige points and level up and everything just with these wacky mini games set within Terror is Reality. A neat idea that I was very rarely able to get going when I wanted to play it, so didn't get a community, surprisingly enough.
And both games are about zombie slaying. Telltale's obviously story focused. One of the big criticisms of this series was the timer.
Yes.
The clock that's constantly working against you as you're trying to make progress.
All right.
Especially
As much as I enjoy this, I'm just going
to.
to skip it if we
for it,
can.
yeah.
Sure.
It's like you couldn't like do everything in one run. Your
Yeah.
first time through, you had to like level up, and then you would reset the game, but you would keep your level.
Go, Cork, go!
This is how you start a game, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love this
really good.
part. Oh,
Get the
That's Leon Kennedy. No.
go, Cork!
I personally really liked the timer because I was playing these games multiple times because they're built for that, and just having like different goals. Like, okay, I never got to see this last time.
Right.
I know this is near where other survivors are going to be, so I can try to bring back like a huge pack at once.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the way that world was sort of structured is like an invited exploration, and you wanted to like see every area and find new things.
Yeah.
So it was a very dense world, I think.
I think people would get into, and it happened to me on my first playthrough of Dead Rising 1, like a no-win situation where I just spent too much time exploring or wasn't like heading in the right direction,
Yeah.
or I didn't have the right supplies or something I needed. But then that's where the replay came in. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I learned something valuable here.
And
I
that's-
need to focus on this and this.
That's something that maybe wasn't communicated as effectively as it should have been. Is like that game is designed for you to fail and replay
Right.
over and over and over again. You're not meant to finish it on your first try.
You got first place, bud.
Good job.
Yay!
The other crazy thing is just like how many like zombies they had on the screen, and I'm sure
In
that
this one, yeah.
it's
Yeah.
been topped at some point
Yeah.
by other
Yeah.
games. But back then, it was like crazy to see
There's
just
an-
how many NPCs they had on the screen.
Yeah, I think it was one achievement for walking on heads of zombies.
Yes.
Yeah,
like
that was
consecutive
cool.
heads.
It was like a crowd surfing
awesome.
kind
Yeah.
of thing. Yeah.
Another thing the series did really well, bosses. Every time they would introduce a new boss, I'd be like, oh, I can't wait to see what this is. Because they were hilarious and unique.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And the weapons to
psychopaths.
go along with it.
Yeah.
The crazy weapons.
Yeah, all that stuff was super memorable.
Yeah. This Dead Rising 2, they introduced the weapon combinations, which in the first one you were, as Frank, foraging around in the mall and you were improvising, so you'd find like a mannequin and use that as like a melee weapon. But here he was able to like the classic one here is like a canoe paddles or kayak paddles and
Yeah.
then putting chainsaws on the end. So you could like find a couple of different items and put them together in some interesting ways. All right, I'm going to skip ahead.
Yeah.
They made some noise. That's all you need to know.
I like that the world is overrun with zombies, and this is what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
they've gotten to a point where they're comfortable enough to herd them and use them
Yeah.
as like just fodder for a game show.
Yeah. It's very Dead Rising.
Yeah.
I think I would make a real world like Lemmings and just have them all like falling off cliffs and stuff. Like, good luck, zombies.
And would you televise that? You just do it
Nah,
for
just be
fun?
for me.
Just
Yeah.
for you. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is like the story thing also here is that Chuck is getting money and he's trying to get Zombrex because Katie, his daughter, is infected. And that's an element where it's not like the mall is going to be annihilated like in Dead Rising 1. The timer thing is that he's got to keep getting Zombrex and exploring the world to get that, to make sure that his daughter doesn't die of the infection.
Yeah, that's a weird element of this zombie apocalypse is there is a temporary cure. You can keep it at bay, right? Like, where it's not like we just saw with Lee getting his arm chopped off.
Once you
right?
become a zombie, you're a zombie. It's not like you can go back.
Right, right. But you can keep your humanity to a degree.
That's a cool element that you don't see in very much in like zombie fiction, which I think is actually kind of a cool idea. Like, here's the thing, we can hold it off, but if you don't get enough,
Yep.
And it worked really well
turn.
in this game for building the tension as it got
Yeah.
closer and you still didn't have it.
Hey,
The timer's
2
already
games
done.
that put child life in your hand and make it super intense when
Yes.
they're doing that.
Survivors in these games are important, like having NPCs, bringing them back. Like, that was a big goal. And if you're not only like thinking about yourself, but the people in tow that you're bringing back. And that would limit you. You'd be like, well, I can't go this way or that. I have to keep an eye on this person.
The first time in the first game where you save those 2 people on the roof, that couple,
Yes.
and you like level up 6 times, you just get super excited to go out and save more people.
I think I spent too much time kicking the soccer ball up there, and then I got in trouble.
They defected.
I just get so distracted in these games by like going into a shop and it's like, oh, there's a billion items I can interact with. I'm wearing masks. And it's like, oh, the survivor's dead. And that's where the timer, you'd have
Yeah.
like 3 timers ticking against you at once.
Yeah.
And you're like, which one do I go to first?
it was.
But that's part of the brilliance of these
Yeah.
games.
I think my favorite psychopath in Dead Rising 2, there's like a Siegfried and Roy style magician.
Yeah.
And he's got a tiger with him, and you can tame the tiger, and then you can just go back to your little hideout where the safe room where Katie is, and she's just sitting there right next to a tiger because you fed it meat. It's just tame now. It's like, okay, everything seems fine.
Yeah, that's cool.
And now when they were Blue Castle, they also did some baseball games, the Bigs.
The bigs. Yep.
Oh, that was them.
And then they kind of became the Capcom Vancouver studio or the Dead Rising studio.
Yep.
But then what else were they
They
working
did that
on?
Super Puzzle Fighter game
That's
on
right.
mobile, the one that was monetized to hell and back, and then they shut that down a couple of months ago, and then they said they did that because they're going to focus on the next Dead Rising.
Which
Did not.
that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Right.
I wonder what that would have been.
Yeah.
Probably Dead Rising 5.
That's probably a really smart
Yeah,
point.
that's my guess.
Yeah, the series definitely changed over the years, and it became more streamlined. I think the last one, or the biggest criticism that I had with the person as the psychopaths were not very interesting. But I liked how they found the elements that were the most fun about it, and just like dove into that. So like weapons combinations. It's been a while since I've played Dead Rising 2.
So what do you? I mean, that was a mall setting again, right? Like
yeah,
Christmas themed mall setting.
And the mall was part of it, but it was like the open town of Willamette.
Yeah.
But do you think the next one maybe would have been?
Alice, no!
You think the next one would have been more of a huge sprawling open world?
Save Alice! Oh no!
You can't save everybody.
Jenny is dead. Wow.
I like rock and roll, so this is right on my brand.
I love this.
These games are just so much fun. Getting the XP for everything
Drake
you did.
is dead.
Yeah, you killed Drake. Congratulations.
You could play with friends. You could bring in, people in co-op.
That was
Not
the
a great-
weakest
not a
throw
great
I've
throw.
ever seen, Cork.
You level that up later in the game.
When I was a kid, I used to love those just like beat 'em ups, stuff like Streets of Rage and whatnot,
no.
and like I just loved doing that. And this feels in a lot of ways like kind of a modern version of that, where you're just like going and just beating dudes up.
Yep.
Except it was like, I love the way they did combining items, because whenever you do it, using that item gives you way more PP than anything else. So
Right.
it's like, okay,
Leo.
now that I have this,
come on.
Grow up.
Sorry. Here's an excuse to kill zombies. Like, I can just go kill zombies for a while, and it will be helpful to me.
And it's the experimentation of it too. Like, okay, I can combine this guitar with this flamethrower.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a new weapon, but you could also use the flamethrower to combine with something else. So you're doing those blueprints, adding that to your collection. So many cool things that were kind of unique to the series.
Oh no!
Cork.
Cork, no!
They're so
The
bad.
zombies! Do they explain, like, it seems like he's getting bit a lot, but he doesn't need Zombrex? Or does he?
He's getting bit in an okay way.
Okay.
You
good.
don't want to
That's
get bit
good
in
to
the
know.
bad way.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bad way's no good.
That's the bad way.
Oh, man.
Oh no.
Oh, never mind. I don't care. Go ahead, eat.
Yeah, as you were.
That
Puff, puff.
cute little backpack.
Scream her name.
Katie, it's me. It's Daddy.
It's happening again, isn't it? Like what happened when Mommy...
Shh, hey, Katie.
Oh, we're going to skip this because everyone is going to go right out and finish this.
Katie was voiced by Nolan North. People don't know this. That's how much range he has.
Wow.
Okay, so I got
That's
to
insane.
throw Katie at him.
Yeah,
You
use
can't
her like
throw
a
Katie. Get real.
axe. Escape the area. Oh, Erwin. Sorry.
Yeah, bye.
Too busy.
Oh, dear.
So when you played, I haven't actually like finished 2.
What?
What?
I'm sorry.
Get out. Oh, here.
I didn't get enough PP. What? Do you have to play this very beginning every time?
God, it's been so long.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because I remember with the first one, which I did finish, by the way, I got kind of sick of that intro because you play
Yeah.
that over and over
In
again.
that lobby?
I don't
Yeah.
think it's as focused on replaying from the beginning over and over again. But again, it's been so long since I played Dead Rising 2.
I see your dinosaur.
Oh, that's cool.
Game
Oh, it's the
immediately
coolest.
gets an extra point because of the dinosaur. Because they're the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
Did this game have motorcycle customization, or is that just off the record?
Yes.
Cool. Putting chainsaws on the handlebars. Great game.
A funny horn.
Vehicle customization really hit the high point in 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were bonkers in that.
You could just do it anywhere, right? Just put
Yep,
two
just
vehicles
in the middle of the
next to
street.
each other.
Yeah,
and then-
you just drive them right next to each other.
Then you hear like taping sounds and banging hammer.
And voila!
Well, you're a mechanic in that game, so it makes sense.
Exactly. If Blue Castle / Capcom Vancouver, maybe they didn't really know what mechanics are.
No,
But
but that's okay.
that's fine.
I'll tell you what, they know what game mechanics are.
Oh, Leo. Nice recovery.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well done.
I have to say, like the Telltale closure is a big deal. I don't want to minimize that anyway, but I like gutted about Capcom
Oh, yeah,
Vancouver
you
because they
were-
made games that I really like to play. And Telltale, I appreciate what they did, but their games just overall, I wasn't just like as big a fan as I was with the Dead Rising games.
But
so.
unfortunately, Capcom Vancouver paid their employees severance, so nobody's talking about it.
Exactly.
Is that the big difference?
Leo
You think
with
that's
the
why?
zinger.
She was looking right at me and they had her.
I think what happened was with Telltale is just because they were in the middle of releasing a series, and
Yeah.
like people are like, okay, well, I paid for this, and
Yep.
so I think it escalated, and it was surprising. I think Capcom Vancouver kind of went a little bit under the radar with like, because I remember I was in Japan when that was announced, and it just didn't seem like people are like, oh, that's because I don't think people sometimes associate, like, they think Capcom Vancouver and they weren't thinking Dead Rising, you know, with it.
Right.
Like, I think they're just like, oh, it's just a of Capcom, whatever. Like, it's not the end of the world. And it's like, no, we're gonna lose this series now.
Yeah.
Which
It was
I
sad.
bet money they were working on the 5th one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How much money?
I don't have money, but if
You know-
I had
Okay,
money,
well, I'll take that.
And they made a deal with Microsoft on, was it just 3 or was it 3 and 4?
3 and 4 were both like timed exclusive.
Yeah, so I mean that was partially funded
Yeah.
by Microsoft, right? So
And it seemed like those didn't like hit as big as like 1 and 2 did. I felt like 1 and 2 people talked about more.
well, also, I mean, you got smaller install base. You know, it's
Yeah.
not on PS4 at the time.
Well, by the time 4 was out, it was a
but I remember
Right,
that was
decent.
actually why I got an Xbox One, was to play
Dead Rising.
Dead Rising.
yeah. I think Dead Rising 3 was probably the first Xbox One game I played. I think because it was a launch game, right?
Close. Yeah, it,
Yeah, it
was.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was.
They had the day 1 edition on it.
Oh, did I say 5? I meant Dead Rising 4. Jesus.
All right, gotta go with the
Get your
baseball bat.
shit together, Wallace.
So you can
Urgent,
ignore
dude.
the
It's
calls.
urgent. It's urgent.
I think our D-pad. There we go.
Otis,
Yeah,
how
exactly.
did you get this number?
You again? Oh.
Okay, so there's the Zombrex meter, which is the most terrifying thing ever.
Yeah. I was one of the people who was skeptical when I heard Frank West was not the protagonist, but
Really?
they totally won me over with.
Oh, Chuck's great.
I think he was
Chuck's
really,
good.
really good.
I mean, you could take photos in the last game, right? Like, that was a big part of it. That was fun.
Yeah,
doing here.
that's how you earned experience,
That's right.
Yeah.
or at least partially.
Yeah, yellow sneaker. You already got yellow sneakers.
Now I do.
I feel like with the last one, it's a similar case of like they're trying to figure out in this new gen what to do with it. That was going to be different. I don't think they. I'm gonna bet that the next game would have
I
had
don't know what I'm doing.
been
so
a
I'm just
little
gonna
bit.
Pick around here.
You're in the brick
skateboard,
store,
please?
apparently.
Oh, an awful
Cork.
toss. I got
Oh.
Whoa, wait.
Cork,
Look
if
in
you
that
could please
cabinet.
skateboard,
Look in that
Cork.
cabinet. Is there a hot dog in there?
Oh,
I can go for a hot dog.
Yeah, look in there. Oh,
this is so great if
that
you're
is a
having
hot
if
dog.
you're
It's
having
just
a,
sitting there.
if you're having a
oh,
bad
this is-
day to just load this up.
I'm just putting on a hip hop outfit.
Hey yo.
Yeah,
Hold
get that
on,
hot dog.
I'm busy.
Let me eat a hot dog real quick. Oh wait.
Oh. You want some money?
That sound effect.
I love it.
Cork, can you please get a skateboard?
Oh,
It would
where's the
complement your
skateboard?
current outfit. It's
And
on
then-
the back wall.
All right.
Oh, yeah. You'd pick up magazines to get skills, like permanent skill boosts.
Oh my god, this is gonna be great.
Yeah, and there was a magazine that it was called skateboarding, at least in the first one. And then whenever you're skateboarding, it lasted longer, and you could do kick flips.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm just a teen.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh, that was all it lasted?
Yep.
Have you ever used a skateboard before?
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
They're disposable.
That's probably why I stopped skating.
Oh yeah.
You're looking great. Look out!
Whip.
Oh.
It's so satisfying when the pee-pee comes up.
There's nothing like it.
Oh, Reiner.
There was a pizza on the ground there.
I always get a lot of PP from coffee. If you guys have that problem.
Yeah, when you get enough, you get a free one.
That's right.
That's right.
How do you guys feel about how in this series drinking a big bottle of coffee creamer refills your health completely?
I liked the big orange juice
Really
jug.
good, yeah.
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 I like that you could take a frying pan and put it on the stove, like a stovetop, and it would heat up, and then
Yes.
you would push it against their face.
Okay, let's see what
Put
stores we got here.
uncooked pizza in microwaves, and then it gives you more
I
health.
think that
after
one
you
of the
heat it
best
up.
stores is nearby, if I remember. They
Oh,
have like two
yeah,
stores
yeah,
that I
yeah.
really like. There's, let's see here. From the first game, is
that it? The wave?
No.
If you throw these dice
Oh my god.
until you get
please.
the right thing, you get pee-pee.
Do you really? Until you get like what?
A 7,
2
right?
6s or something?
I forget. Yeah, probably a 7. Probably whatever
Oh.
the number is supposed to be in real life. And I think if they don't bounce off people, they like are kind of loaded towards what you need them to go to.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
I don't know why
I
I'm
remember
playing
right.
this. We got-
Yeah.
Bring in the
There it
money.
is. That's 7.
There you go.
Craps table.
There you
Nicely
go.
done.
I love these games for just being so full of weird little secrets like that.
Yeah.
And then once you do later playthroughs, it's like, okay, I know to do this.
Okay,
You
Jeff,
know,
what
yeah,
store
how to
were
get
you
the-
thinking?
I was thinking
Big
of
buffs.
There's the toy box.
Ye Old Toy Box.
This is where you get some fun masks.
There's Stylin' Toddlers, which I like that name.
Yep.
And there's also the
Hey, there's a dino mask.
bag of marbles.
Ooh.
Let's see. It's so good.
You dumb zombies.
What a game.
Oh, that's not a kid's toy.
See, and look at that.
Oh, but you can like, yeah, put that on their head. That's right.
Oh, this is
What
so
an asshole.
great.
Now he looks like a zombie.
Yeah.
This is bumming me out. I want to play a new one.
Yeah. I feel like I could go back to this game for sure.
Yeah, right now I'm
Yeah.
just like, I love these
I
games.
feel
wanna
like
play
I
it.
should go back.
Yeah.
Well, we blew it as a community of gamers. They're
right.
gone.
Dead
I
Rising
bought it
1 has
every
a good-
time. I didn't blow it. I helped every way I could.
Dead Rising 1 does
too.
have a good version on Steam.
Oh, yeah. Stick pony.
Here we go.
Heyo.
Ride it. My stick pony.
This is so great.
And there's Jill's Sandwiches around here. Sturdy Package. That's a good store.
Sturdy pack.
Oh, they actually have a Jill sandwich store?
Yeah, Jill's Sandwiches.
Oh, that's really good.
I think it's down this way, but it's been a while.
That's a Res Evil 1 joke
Yeah.
about her getting squished.
Classic.
Playboy.
Boy. What?
What?
Johnny Knoxville as a headline.
Did they have,
Remember
like,
those
a
days?
That's
thing?
an advertisement for a magazine? What is that?
Yep.
Weird.
Oh, and these
Oh no.
slot machines, if you see one with a bunch of money out the front of it, it pays out big for you. Like you can keep spamming it and you'll keep winning. until it
Leo,
runs
did
out.
you write a strategy guide for this
Yeah,
game?
Leo knows all the secrets.
It's all
I didn't
flooding
realize
back.
how
and it's making
Last
me
name is
emotional.
Prima. It's Leo Prima.
Donna.
Oh yeah, there's some bad guys in here.
Roy Smart.
Yeah, Roy Smart. How do you pronounce that name? Dennis? Is that it?
Dennis?
I think it's a
Denise?
Vancouver
Yeah,
thing.
Dennis.
Canadians. Come on.
Yeah, they're Canadian is showing for sure. That's what was nice about this too. Is like Dead Rising took place in America and it was like a Japanese view of it, and this is still like a weird version of the outside looking in at America because it's Canadian, so things are just kind of off a little bit, but in a really fun way.
Advice.
Where would you want the series to go, setting-wise?
Setting wise, oh boy, I liked Willamette a lot. Good grief.
Would you want to go outside of the U.S. even? Just go to a different country? Go to Japan or something?
What about Washington, D.C.?
Like the Division 2.
But there's, like all of that.
But a
the
cool-
mall,
a
all that
funner
stuff.
version.
Yeah.
That could be cool.
Yeah.
An amusement park would be cool.
Yeah. 'cause,
Oh,
like,
that's it.
Yeah,
Yep.
Dead Rising 1 had the like Adam the Clown and
Yep.
Nightmares.
It's a really good idea.
Talking to you is giving
I'm wearing Prophecy of Hip Hop shirt.
and I'll go get some for you. Yeah, give us some money, Grandpa.
Oh, your
Grandpa.
grandpa.
Yeah, this is the first
the
time I
heck?
felt old. Is when I was playing Dead Rising 2 for the first
Grief,
time.
dude.
These characters called me Grandpa.
These
What are you
connect
talking
face
about?
recognition.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the first thing you do is just run around and look around.
Yep.
Unless you have a great weapon, then you just kick their butts.
Oh, dang. Dang, dude.
Pork got anger.
If you want to
Shut up.
save that and like combine it with the fire axe,
Yes.
you get a very powerful weapon.
I have to go to like the special room.
Leo is remembering even
Strategy
the
guide,
combinations
Leo.
now.
Oh, it's flooding.
So you could just combine. Could you combine anywhere in 4? I'm trying to remember.
Yes.
Felt like it was way easier.
You had to go in different rooms, I think, in 2 and 3 for that.
And they went in the direction of being able to combine pretty much anything, right? Like they would make it work.
Yeah.
No
It was,
matter what
it was
you were
always like
combining.
super weird. Like, all right.
Whoa.
But this one was more testing. Like I'm gonna put this on the table and see if the combine prompt even pops up.
Ooh, find that guy.
Well, Capcom Vancouver, here's to you. Thanks for all the great experiences.
So mad at that they closed.
Orange juice.
Orange juice will help ease your pain.
Yeah, we hope all of employees infected or affected by the layoff, not infected like zombies, end up finding new jobs and careers in the game industry, or
please do.
If they're not in games, that they're happy and content with where they end up going.
Capcom should realize the error of their ways.
Bring them back.
Yeah.
And the same goes to, obviously, Telltale. And, everyone in the game industry that ends up suffering a layoff. We never like seeing it. But again, thanks for the experiences. Not every game's a hit, but, a lot of times we end up spending a significant amount of time with your games. And, both companies in this instance delivered unique experiences and had their own kind of foothold in the industry, especially in the zombie space.
Yep.
But thanks for watching, everyone. Again, check out both these series. I would say The Walking Dead. It's not going to end as of now.
Yeah, that's sad.
But Dead Rising has 4 great installments to check out.
I envy the people who haven't tried Dead Rising yet. I think it holds up really well.
Yeah.
Leo, we can do some work on your brain and put you back to that point where you don't remember them.
I would love that.
Let's do it.
But we'll be back with another episode of Replay in 7 days. It'll be the Commodore 64 Mini finale. We'll be looking at another 15 or so games there. So definitely tune in for that and check out the first 2 episodes of that if you haven't already. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Thank you, Reeves.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kim. And thank you, Leo.
Yeah.
We'll see you soon.